What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about what's going on with Scream 5. So there's actually a lot going on, and I wanted to wait a little bit. I do want to make more of these videos, too, as more news comes out. If you guys don't know anything about me, one of the things you should know me that you could probably tell from this video is I am a massive, massive Scream guy. I absolutely love the Scream franchise, and this is going to be a movie that I cover quite a bit, that I'm going to be talking about the news leading into it. I'll have theories. We'll talk about the trailer, and we'll talk about this movie all the way until it releasing, in which we will talk even more about it. So if you guys like that about me, make sure you guys like this video. Make sure you guys are subscribed to this YouTube channel, Podcast Now. I'm going to try and make Scream videos semi-often here. We're getting very close to 40K subscribers, and I really, really do owe you guys a lot of thanks for getting me there. You guys have done an absolutely amazing job, and I know this group probably will tend to be, especially as we keep going, a little bit different than the normal group. So, again, there's a lot of stuff going on. In fact, there's even staff members that tested positive for blank that I'm not going to talk about right now. We're not going to nail all of it. I want to focus on, in my opinion, the two biggest things: the name of this movie and also Selena Gomez. And so let's start with the name. So it's long been talked about, is this going to be Scream 5 or are they going to have a new name for it, right? Turns out, from what we see from the picture, what you guys even see from the thumbnail image, right, is that it's just called Scream. That they're kind of doing the Halloween method. And honestly, being more of a gaming channel too, because I cover a lot of games, games will tend to do this as well. You see it with God of War. We've seen it actually for a lot of different games, whether they completely drop the number altogether and just do a name, or they do the name and then they do a subtitle. And I have seen people say too, with Scream, you got to think about the future as well, that if this is the soft reboot that it, has been talked about. And by the way, the title, I think, confirms that. So it just being called Scream with the slash through, which, by the way, looks very, very cool. I think you could very easily picture that in like the opening, opening scene of the movie, right? You see the name Scream and then it gets slashed with like a knife or something, which, by the way, would look extremely cool. With that being said, and with that keeping in mind, and you look to the future of Scream, now they've set themselves up very easily to just do subtitles, okay? Much like Halloween is doing with the next two Halloween movies. They're not called Halloween 2 and 3. They're called Halloween subtitle, okay? So there's a couple... I have an issue with that for Scream in general, because sometimes it doesn't work all that well. I actually didn't like the new Halloween movie whatsoever. I was really pumped up for it and excited. I just flat out didn't like it. I'm sorry if that makes me lesser of a person. I want this movie franchise. I want Neve Campbell. I want Sydney. I want them all treated with respect with this film. And so to do a soft reboot, I'm just a little worried about the original four, okay? If you're going to completely forget about them, how much you're going to reference them, did they actually happen? As we kind of know with soft reboots, it's kind of fluid. You can pick what you want to acknowledge that happened. You can also pick what you don't want to acknowledge that didn't happen. Okay, so you can obviously have your take. You can have your take, and I think that's good in terms of a storytelling, in terms of the director and the writers wanting to have their own take on this. It makes sense, and I understand it. At the same time, again, I like that. I like it's called Scream. I would have preferred Scream 5. In fact, I've seen a lot of even polls around the internet. I think everybody would prefer it to just be called Scream 5. But at the same time, I do get it. We probably want more Scream movies even after this. And so you could say, okay, well, is that Scream 6? Well, no. Eventually, again, Scream is different to me because Sydney, to me, is Scream. It's not just Ghostface. I think it's Ghostface and Sydney. Ghostface and Neve Campbell, I feel like, are Scream. Whereas, Halloween, I definitely feel like it's just Michael Myers. You can think Laurie, too, but to me, I just think Michael. It's difficult with a lot of these horror franchises. Most of them, they really revolve around the killer, and that's it. And that's why you could reboot them all you want. You could have 15 movies just in order, because it doesn't really matter. But for Scream, I feel like Sydney is such an important part to it. That's why I'm kind of on the fence, where it does make sense to do Scream 5, Scream 6, but eventually, eventually Neve Campbell may just not want to do it. Eventually she may be too old for it. Whatever the case may be, you're going to probably want to move on, just keep it centered around Ghostface. So again, to go back to just just the title of Scream, I guess, it definitely makes sense to me. I just hope they do it well, and we'll have to see what kind of fun subtitles they could do for future movies. Again, as long as they're acknowledging the past films, which we will talk about in future videos, and I really, really hope that they do. Second thing, again, now there's talk of like Billy Loomis. I've seen people talk about that. That's extremely, the prospect of that happening, by the way, is very, very exciting. There's a lot of things they could do there, by the way, but the biggest thing to me besides, that is Selena Gomez. Now, obviously the talk with her has been that she will be the opening, takeout, let's call it, to not use too many bad words on YouTube, of this movie. I think that is a really rock solid idea. I think, because you think about it, well, there's a couple things. And I've seen, by the way, I've seen both sides to this. There's the good. In my mind, I like it. I love the opening to Screams. They've become obviously very, very meta as we've gone on. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I get that they're kind of formulaic and even like systematic, like that, they happen over and over and over again. I get that, and you could say that's a weakness, which we will address in a second, but they are, I feel like, a fundamental part of the movie franchise now, where it would kind of just be wrong to not have something like that. And besides that, you look at even what Scream 1 did, even just to start off the franchise, right? Such a big icon back then, or a person in Drew Barrymore, and she, a lot of people thought she was the main character. She was a really big star at the time, and she was taken out very, very soon. Selena Gomez, big name, really, really big name, and honestly, kind of a demographic. Well, I don't even know if you're going for the demographic that would follow Selena Gomez, you know what I mean? But it definitely doesn't hurt, because at worst, you're going to get the Scream fans, which you probably already have, and then also you get a demographic that Selena Gomez may bring with her, which again, may not be a group that is even legally allowed to see this movie, at least by themselves, you know what I mean? So, I mean, there could be issues there, but at the same time, again, it's not a bad thing. I really don't think it's a bad thing. I think you introduce a brand new audience to this film franchise, and again, thinking about like a pop culture thing, she's a big name. There are slightly bigger names, I would say, out there, but I would say Selena Gomez is absolutely like top tier in terms of like name recognition. Like when you think her name, you know who she is. She's got a really big fan base, right? She's in a lot of different, acting wise, also singing wise. So I think so she's kind of the best of both worlds in that way. I think that's a really, really solid choice if it's true. Now, in terms of if it's true, you see, I think, Courtney Cox and that whole connection with Instagram and stuff like that. I think it makes a load of sense. I know I saw people say, the day she showed the mask picture, the whole, the face mask that said vote on it, she was sitting on what looked like a casting chair that looked like the Scream one, which, by the way, all of those chairs look the same, so you're just kind of assuming that she's sitting on that chair because she's there. She also was wearing a sweater that very much resembled Drew Barrymore in the original, and we know there's going to be a lot of references to the original. So, I mean, again, we can keep rolling down the list, right? Courtney Cox saying that she can't wait to meet her, which is kind of an odd thing to say, on Instagram, and then she took that, comment down. There's a lot of, I'd say, evidence, and, besides that, again, there's going to be an opening takeout of this movie, and right now, everybody's talking about Selena Gomez. If it's somebody else, I mean, fine, but at this point, we know kind of what to expect from the opening. We know Selena Gomez could very well be attached to it, so it definitely, makes sense. I will quickly address this, though, just to say, like, the negative of it. I have seen people say, when it comes to the opening, maybe they do need a shake-up. Maybe with a movie like this, obviously, again, a soft reboot, maybe you want to do something different where the opening is either bold or it's just not what we're used to, right? Where it's like, hey, maybe a big character can go, or maybe somebody doesn't get eliminated in the beginning. Maybe they actually escape and then they are further in the movie or whatever, just to kind of shake things up a bit. I understand that. I completely understand that. I completely get that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like if Selena Gomez, say, were to escape and make it through, and she appeared later on in the movie in a very small supporting role, I would have nothing wrong with that. Here's what I will say. Eliminating one of the three, okay? I do not agree. One of like the three original cast. Absolutely do not agree with. There were even people saying like, Nev Campbell, Sydney should be the opening, takeout. Absolutely not. In my opinion, and I did see somebody say this, like Terminator, it would be like Terminator. In my opinion, it would be worse. I don't really care all that much about Terminator. I care about Scream. So to me, it would be an impact. I feel like that would be the same kind of thing, though. It would be such a spit in the face to everyone who went into that movie saying, okay, Nev Campbell's back, Sidney Prescott's back, and then, oh, oh, she gets taken out around 5 seconds into the movie. It's like, absolutely not. That would be, in my opinion, because that just has you just have a bad taste in your mouth, and now you despise the movie right at the beginning. You don't want to do that. If they take her out at the end, which again, as I've talked about in the past, I really don't think you should eliminate her. Absolutely not. I think you keep her in the entire thing. I think she makes it through the entire thing. But if you were to take her out at the end, at least it's at the end. At least she made it through another movie. At least we can hate the movie at the ending instead of right away at the beginning. So honestly, very, very exciting. There's more stuff. They're going to be filming like a car scene later on, so we'll have to see what that is. We still don't know what Ghostface is going to look like, so there's lots more we can talk about over the coming weeks, over the coming months as filming continues, as we get closer to a trailer happening, as we get closer to the movie happening. So guys, let me know in the comments below anything you guys want me to talk about. I take requests quite often. I give you guys a shout out in the video if I use your topics. If you guys want me to do something that you want to see, absolutely let me know. But with that being said, I will be doing many more Scream videos over the next, well, at this point, year and 3-4 months until we get the movie. And then again, like I said, it's going to be really, really fun after that as well. So let me know. Make sure, as always, you guys are subscribed, have the bell icon turned on so you know when all these videos go up. And thank you all so much for watching. I truly, truly appreciate it. I hope to see you all on the next video.